reading some of these stories and how it's bringing people together in where they were, almost in the way that past generations were with where were you when John F. Kennedy was shot? Where were you during the Challenger disaster in '86? It's amazing how everyone has their story and everyone has been sharing it on the Facebook page.
Well, it impacted our world. It impacted us, and I'd love to tell you that it was a positive, but it was a horrible impact. Here's how I classify it. And I was able to be there in New York on the 7th anniversary, the 7th day. So it happened on a Tuesday. On the 11th, we were there on the 18th at Ground Zero and helping at Ground Zero to try to. They're still trying to identify and find victims, lost loved ones, and it was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. And the way I clarify it in terms of what we're trying to do is we're not looking back at history for purposes of just remembrance. I mean, that's good. It's good. It's good for us to remember when we were bombed and attacked at Pearl Harbor. That's good. But this is much deeper than that. This is about what happened in the spiritual dynamic when we were attacked on 9/11 by an invisible enemy who was motivated by evil. Now, we don't even know the name of them. I mean, we call them terrorists, but that's a generic. I mean, they don't have uniforms. They could be in the neighborhood. They could be across the street. They could be at church when you go to church. And so that fear has been festering. It's just been festering. We see it erupting all around our nation in hatred and fear. And so we think this is an approach for us to turn against that fear with faith. That we trust God. We're going to put our faith in God. We cannot confront the enemy on our own. We have to have God's assistance. And you know what? I was so excited to see President Trump declare last Sunday as a day of prayer for the victims of this terrible storm that hit in the Texas coast and in Louisiana. It encourages me that our president will do that. Love him or hate him, he was courageous enough to declare a day of prayer, and that to me, that's a big plus.
Well, there's definitely a respect for the social conservative communities, regardless of whatever political stripe they're in, and especially for the evangelical community that President Trump seems to have a soft spot for. And of course, we're all glad to see that. It's such a difference between uniting and dividing, and Trump has been more unifying for many, especially on the right, than anyone has seen in a very long time, probably since Reagan. But in bringing all this up, and we're talking to Don Black, the president and CEO of Cornerstone Television Network, talking about the In God We Trust movement and the broadcast coming on September 11th. How can people get involved with this, Don, if they wanted to?
Well, it's still not too late to sign the petition. And as you say, it is on the president's desk. I have 3 channels that assured me that it is on his desk. So, you don't make the president do anything you ask him to consider. So we are still believing that he will actively consider our request. If he doesn't do it for this year, then there is next year. But you can still sign a petition. Do that simply at ingodwetrust.tv. Go to that website, sign the petition. It's very simple. It's very, very, very easy to do. And then participate with us on Monday the 11th. Become part of that group who's coming together. There'll be hundreds of thousands of us that are gathering together in prayer. It's a unique television experience that we'll broadcast online and on Facebook, and it will be different than you've ever seen before. It's a different kind of experience. Join us in that and be part of the solution. The solution is prayer.
And by the way, if you're listening to this after the 11th, either on podcast or whatever means there are out there, don't just limit yourself to September 11th for this day of prayer and day of action. The movement continues forward beyond just one day. And I'm sure, you go to ingodwetrust.tv, go to the Facebook group, you'll see the interaction will continue and grow beyond just that day. Right, Don?
That's what we're watching to happen. We're not an organization. I'm going to make it really clear. We're not an organization. We're a movement. We don't have a president. We don't have a nonprofit status. We are a movement of people who are like-minded. So we'll watch and see what happens next. There's not a 3-year strategic plan. I mean, we're moving forward as we're led to do so, and I think as long as there are things that we need to stand up and make our presence known and voices heard, I believe that will be our goal, is just to be that voice. Jesus said we're salt and we're light, and we need to be salt. And if our country seems to be dark, we need to try to illuminate that with the light that God has put inside of us as believers. And so that's what this is all about. It's purely, it's like back in the 70s and the 60s, purely a grassroots, heart-to-heart connection.
And that's the beautiful thing about it. Folks, go to www.ingodwetrust.tv. Check out the website. Sign the petition while you still can. Check out the Facebook, ingodwetrust.tv. Don, this is a beautiful thing coming out of such a tragic day that still scars so many people's hearts. Thank you for doing this, and I'll be watching definitely at my desk, as much as I can be, and you'll have my prayers and my hopes that this continues beyond this one day. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me on. God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Hey folks, I just want to let you know about a great opportunity for listeners of Behind Enemy Lines Radio. If you go to our website, www.behindenemylinesradio.us, and click on the same box ad on the right side of the page, you will get a great opportunity for a discounted offer to join SaneBox. SaneBox filters out all the unimportant email from your inbox so that you can really focus on what matters. If you're anything like me, folks, you get hundreds of pieces of email a day, not many of which is important. SaneBox's smart filter will get everything you need to fly through your inbox and finally make email work for you. It gets rid of spam emails, it deprioritizes emails that aren't as important to you, and it helps you unsubscribe from mailing lists and individual senders with ease. So again, go to www.behindenemylinesradio.us and you click on the SaneBox ad and you'll be given an exclusive offer you won't find anywhere else. Time for a little music. We call this, What the F*** is Maxine Waters Saying?
To be clear, you believe it would have been better to keep in place an FBI director who you said had no credibility to oversee this investigation than to find someone who you think would be a better choice?
No. But I believe the president thought that. Don't forget, you're talking about what some Democrats said, what I said, but don't forget, he was the president. The president supported him. He had confidence in him. It was within his power. And
but you said he had no credibility, so it would seem to make sense that he should get rid of him.
No. Under investigation, this president basically has interfered with an investigation where he may be implicated. That's outrageous, and that's why we're having so much of a conversation about it today.
The bottom line is that you think an FBI director without credibility would have been best served in this position to try to pursue this investigation.
I think if the president had fired him when he first came in, he would not have to be in a position now where he's trying to make up a story about why it does not meet the smell test.
Yeah, something smells all right.
Understood. So if Hillary Clinton had won the White House, would you have recommended that she fire FBI Director James Comey?
Well, let me tell you something. If she had won the White House, I believe that given what he did to her and what he tried to do, she should have fired him.
So she should have fired him, but he shouldn't have fired him. This is why I'm confused.
No, you're not confused.
Yes I am. Gene Baradelli, back behind enemy lines. The first part of the show was kind of heavy. We're kind of going to try to lighten it up towards the end here. And thank goodness for Hillary Clinton. Because if not for her releasing her book this week, I wouldn't get to play this again.
Top secret data purloined by a gremlin. Misdeeds exposed with some help from the Kremlin. WikiLeaks published the emails we tossed. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Draft beer and vino and vodka martini all disappear like I'm freaking Houdini. It's not a secret I like to get sauced. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Girls in blue dresses with DNA traces. Bill has me threaten the girls he embraces. With my assistance, he's free to accost. These are a few of the reasons I lost. When I'm lying, testifying, I concoct a tale. I look for excuses and others to blame, and then I won't go to jail. Tantrums and breakdowns and fake tears with tissues, obvious signs of some medical issues, fainting and stumbling and eyes that go crossed. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Because of my gender, I think I've been slighted. There's a good chance that I may be indicted. Image as cold as a New England frost. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Currency laundered through Clinton Foundation. Influence peddling that threatens our nation. All the offenses I've seemed to amass. These are the reasons that Trump kicked my ass. When I'm lying, testifying, I concoct a tale. I look for excuses and others to blame, but I still may go to jail.
And now Hillary has added some new chapters to the list of excuses of why she lost. In fact, it's a whole book of why she lost. Hillary Clinton, what happened? Or as people outside of New York say, what happened? Her new book, What Happened, is now hitting stores, and she's going on book signing tours the week of 9/11. That's not tone deaf at all. Hillary is adding to the list of people to blame, other than Hillary Clinton, for losing this election. Can I just say how much I love this, folks? I love that Hillary Clinton is insisting on inserting herself into the news cycle. I love that Hillary Clinton is remaining as what she thinks is a top Democrat. I love that Hillary Clinton thinks she's still relevant in a Trump era. I love that Hillary Clinton is still the albatross around the necks of a Democratic Party that wants to move so far beyond her, it's ridiculous. But let's add to the blame game, shall we? According to the new book, what happened? Well, what happened is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the reason why Hillary Clinton lost. It wasn't the fact that the DNC had actually stacked the odds against Bernie Sanders. But now, because Bernie pushed her so far left and was giving away ponies, according to Hillary Clinton, I think she's confusing Bernie Sanders with Vermin Supreme. Maybe that's just me. But because she kept saying that, because Bernie kept overpromising people, that she had to go along with it. Not point out that it's dumb to overpromise things that the government can't deliver on. Not that, you don't want to be considered socialist or create a scheme where nobody can keep what they earn and what they create. So what happened is Bernie struck, and Bernie killed Hillary's campaign. It wasn't the fact that Bernie was winning, or that Hillary was still, in spite of Bernie winning, getting half electoral votes from states because of the superdelegate system and the scheme set up by the DNC. What happened is Hillary was getting beat because Bernie was promising free stuff for everyone. Hillary was feeling the frustration that we as conservatives feel about Democrats in general. That there is no such thing as free. I guess Hillary maybe she was embracing her inner conservative there. I don't know. But here's who else Hillary's blaming. Other women. Not just all women. Just women who did not vote for her. In a story that's been hitting the news this week, upon, reading the angry accounts of what happened. Hillary talks about the Women's March in D.C. and other cities